Welcome back to yet another CS2 guide. Today we are going to talk about economy. How much do you gain per round, so you know when to buy. We will also consider penalties and rewards, and for newer players we are also going to talk a little bit about popular terms in the buy strategies. You can find timestamps down in the description below, so just jump to any point that is interesting to you. Let's get right into it. Although it's always crucial managing your money, it's particularly critical in the beginning when resources are limited. Throughout the match, monitor your finances, predict what you will need, and make purchases that support your team's overall plan. You start with $800. Losing a round without getting any reward or penalty will get you $1,400. Exception: pistol rounds are actually awarded $1,900 on losses. So, if you AFK the pistol round, saving your $800 you started with, you will have $2,700 in the second round of the game, even though you lose without doing anything. So you could, for example, buy nothing in the first round on T side to guarantee at least one AK without Kevlar in the second round. Just a small note, not a very good tactic. Now, about the loss bonus. You've probably noticed on the scoreboard that there's an indicator for your loss bonus. For every round that is lost back to back, you will gain 1 charge for the loss bonus, up to 4 charges. For every charge you gain $500 more for losing the round. These have no impact on your income on 1 rounds. If you look at this chart from FPS Point, you can study the concussive CS2 loss bonus. As you can see, income is also defined by bomb plants and bomb defused. CT players get $3,500 per player when they successfully defuse an activated bomb, so that's an additional $250. Same goes for T players. Terrorists on successfully causing a bomb explosion are given $3,500. Individual players planting or defusing the bomb earn an extra $300 bonus. This is a bonus just for you, not for the entire team. So planting after a finished round will not reward your team, like some myths tend to claim. You can, however, use the plant after the timer has finished to gain another $300 for yourself. So planting, even though the round is already won, is always a nice thing that you should do if you are able to do it without getting yourself in trouble. If a round ends without a defuse or detonation of the bomb, every player in the winner's team is awarded with $3,250. Which means that on full loss bonus you will have a slightly higher income losing the round than the team winning the round. In the end, this is going to be balanced out though in practical cases, because if you've lost the round, you will most of the time have no guns saved and also fewer kill rewards than the enemy team. But before we get into that deeper, let's test out if you understand these basics so far. Situation: you bought Kevlar on the pistol round and got instant one-tap. No shame, we've all been there, sometimes even on a daily basis. Your team loses the pistol round by being wiped out. You saved up $150. Because it's the pistol round, you get a $1,900 reward since you start with 1 charge in the loss bonus. So you are up on $2,050. Now the important question: can you buy a deagle here? How much are you allowed to spend without being more or less of a griefer? Always think of this. You lose the round without any accomplishment means you gain 1.4. In this case it was the pistol round though, so you gain 1.9 instead. Because you lost the first round, it will be $500 more. So the next round's budget is going to be 4.45 then. This is enough for either an AK with Kevlar and a few util or an M4 kit. So to our conclusion, while you could afford a P250 on both sides in the second round, you cannot get a deagle on CT and expect to get an M4 with Kevlar and helmet in the next round guaranteed. So, if you are losing the first round without any reward out of it, you can almost always get a P250 or duels. But let's stay with our example. You went for a full buy on the third round now and lose yet again. You've invested all your money, and even though it's unlikely that hey, you are actually down to $0 and don't get any reward money once again. It's the third round you just lost, so you gain 2.9. Back to our quiz. This time around, can you buy a deagle and this eco? Absolutely, this time around you can actually buy a lot more than most people would think. If you are to lose again, you will gain 3.4. That means you will have $6.3 next round if you buy nothing. So if you don't intend on running any util, even with a M4A4 on your loadout, you could get away with buying a UMP and Kevlar and helmet, deagle Kevlar and helmet and nades, or just a plain Nova with Kevlar and helmet. It's really important to know these things, because if the enemy team does and you don't, you will give up rounds for a lack of firepower that wouldn't have been necessary to give away, and have much more pressure needing to win the full buy rounds or losing the game right there. There's also one case that we didn't cover yet. If you are on T side and you manage to get the bomb plant down, you not only get a $250 bonus each for winning the round, not only $300 for planting it down for the person that planted the bomb, you also get $800 each if you lose the round after planting the bomb. With 1.9 from the pistol round and on top an $800 bonus plus your 150 from buying Kevlar in the first round, you will always have the chance to get a Galil with a Kevlar and helmet, or a scout if that's more your thing, and with this you can match, or most of the times even outmatch, the second round MP buy from the CTs. This is why it's very common to buy in the second round as a T even if you lost the first round, in case you got the bomb plant down. So I hope you understand the basic of the economy system now. Now all that's left is to take in consideration that different guns generate different amounts of kill rewards in cash for you. You can pause on this table at any moment. I don't feel like we need to talk that much about it. I just want to point out that you need to be aware that, for example, the ZZ does not count as a regular pistol on the rewards, just like the AWP doesn't count for rifles, and that these weapons will only reward you with $100 for the kill, same going for the P90, only rewarding you $300 instead of $600. Especially in rounds considering a pistol, this is pretty important to know. So for the few loyal ZZ enjoyers that are still out there, you might want to think of using something else in your pistol rounds. I mean, the P250 has always been a beast, and if you are just in the love with fire rate, hey, the dual Berettas are always out there. Now, for penalties. A terrorist that survives the round timer will not be awarded with the round and income. So if you have low loss bonus and save through the round, in this case, you wouldn't even get the $1,400 if you survive the round. You do get to keep your weapons, obviously. By the way, you've probably already noticed that this is why most of the time people try to peak the T saving around this time. After the round timer, but before the next round starts. This is due to the penalty. Imagine a terrorist bought down to $0, saves his AWP without killing anyone, and then gets peaked and killed after time. He will literally have that cash count stuck on $0 starting the next round and no gun saved. So if his team isn't going to buy anything for him and they can't buy Kevlar or diffusers or stuff like that for him, then he will literally be stuck down to his Glock. This is devastating and important for ecos. You might think it's smart to save your Deagle and Kevlar, but if you have just one charge in your loss bonus and you are on T side, it actually makes you money to die before the time runs out. You see, 1.7 if you save those two things, 1.9 if you die before running out of time. So dying here, you can next round, if you really want to, still buy your Deagle and Kevlar with helmet, and its new Kevlar, and you can get a flashbang. So, just keep that in mind. Also, there's a new penalty which will cost you $300 every time you damage a teammate. This is the light version of the hostage penalty, because if you didn't know already, shooting a hostage on office, for example, is the fastest way to lose all your money, even faster than CS2 cases. All that's left to talk about now is a little excursus to terminology. Eco comes from economy, and means that you play this round to save money. An eco is considered an eco when your team's worth of gun and equip is less than 2k. So if only 2 players buy Kevlar plus helmet, they are on 2k and it's in low buy and not an eco anymore. More common is a half buy. For example, if you lost a pistol round but you made a 3k with your non-ZZ pistol, then you can buy a Deagle while still being able to buy together with your team the very next round. When someone calls a half buy, you should try to use your money as much as possible while being reasonable and still being able to have a proper buy the next round. Next up, we are going to talk about bonus buy. This round talks about the team optimizing their loadout and is in more than 80% of all games the case for the third round, if a team started off to 0, of course. It is quite common for them to keep using their MPs or lower tier rifles like the Galil and FAMAS or even shotguns, even though they know they will have a disadvantage in firepower because the enemy has saved up their cash through the second round. This is a strategy all about optimizing your money management and trying to get as much done with the available resources as possible. The same train of thought, but the exact opposite, is a forced buy. This tactic means that everyone is using up everything they have, knowing that you cannot afford a proper build right now or the next round, and you will always see this in your game since this is just very basic normal human behavior on the last round of the game or on halftime rounds where your money vanishes anyway. But it's also pretty strong in second round, especially for terrorists with the availability of going for a Mach 10 with Kevlar. Last up is the full buy. As you could have guessed, this is the time to spend all your money into the top weapon of your choice, all gear and nades that you need, and to go all out. Most players already knew these, but I wanted to make it complete, so I felt the urge to also make a short take on the wording here. One last thing, a personal recommendation. This might be a little bit odd since my channel is known for lineup guides and insta-kill grenade tutorials, but please, for the love of God, stop buying grenades if you are not sure what to do with them. Dying with full tool belt means you lose up to $1,400 just by that. Think before you buy. Just buying grenades won't make you a better player, and yes, you can use grenades even though you don't know how to. For example, you don't know any lineups on Mirage, but be on CT side. You can think to yourself, I just throw my Molotov in apps and once it fades, I throw a smoke to delay the enemy and not be overrun. Now you have a reason to get a Molotov and a smoke. Of course, it would be better to have a lineup for them, or to wait for steps and so on and so on. But this is a reason to buy utils. Now, you could also get a flash, but where and when are you going to throw it? You might just end up flashing teammates if you don't know how to, flashing yourself in the worst case, and pay $200 in the end to actually lose the round. Like, take it for example, whenever I'm playing Ancient B as a terrorist, I won't get an HE because I got a plan in my head. Alright, support flash for ramp. Then I'm gonna get in the corner, smoke line up for long. Most of the time I have a teammate dropping me a second smoke. Then after those smokes, second support flash. Then I will pull around, get behind the double door and throw out my Molotov for dark, cubby, whatever you wanna call it. You will never see me get an HE when our lead calls out a B-go on Ancient, cause I planned my equip long before the game even started for this scenario, and I've got my 4 grenades and how I want to throw them planned out. I know all of this was a lot. I tried to get in as much valuable information as possible, and as always I hope you enjoyed the video and that it helped you out in some way. If so, please consider leaving a subscribe and like, as it heavily motivates me to push out more content. Thanks for watching and see you in another video.